Okay, so we are ready to start. Let's start the engine and let's take it for a ride. Okay, automatic headlights, it's fine. And we are good to go. Let's put some music. YouTube music, so we don't get the video. Okay. Oh. Cruise control, okay? That's it. You see that little speck around the speed needle? That is our target speed. And now my foot is off, and as you can see, the two bars in the middle, those are indicating the throttle position. So now we are downhill, and the car is not throttling. Now we are leveling, and theoretically is going to for it. It's not that it's as immediate as a factory cruise control. Still needs some refinement to it, but for cruising like 60 miles per hour, 100 kilometers an hour here in Europe, it's fine. It's fine. Don't recommend to use it in mountain or low speeds, but for normal speeds it works just fine. Now, let's go to the freeway. Lines in the middle, I believe those aren't in the last video I posted. Those are indicating which gear are we in. Actually, the Nissan 200 SX doesn't have any sensors to provide that information directly, but considering that we know which are the revs in the engine, we know the speed, we know the gear ratios and the size of the tires, and the differential gear ratio, we can figure it out. So basically, this is a calculation to figure out which speed we are running in, which gear actually. So there is nothing too fancy about that. It's a very simple calculation. But actually, there is nothing too complicated in here. It's just many simple or medium simple things just combined together. So obviously now I'm not in cruise control because I have some morons in the front that are zigzagging and make my driving, not the most pleasant. Okay, let's turn it on now. So now we are cruising. We are with cruise control again. As you can see, it works just nice. Want to increase or decrease the speed, I have here a couple of buttons that of course doesn't show, but you will see the speed target moving and how the acceleration will follow. So now we are around 80 kilometers per hour, and let's go for 100. Now, I don't know if you can appreciate or not, but the volume has lowered as I slow down as well. So that is also an integrated feature of the system. So you can run your music loud without actually having to care about when you are in a traffic light or in traffic jam. The others look at you like, like you are a yobo. But then when you accelerate, you get your volume back, and actually you can regulate the sensitivity. Worth to mention that all this footage is being filmed without breaking any speed limit whatsoever. if you can, second, all right. Okay, so if you can see my speedo is with 1 decimal point precision, and it's actually quite responsive for a digital speedo. But when I change speed, when I change gear, you will see that it gets kind of a bit crazy for a second in between gears. There is a reason for that. It's because that is not the speed that is coming from the ECU directly. Why? Because the ECU from the s13 to the NIS tune, you only get a 2 kilometers per hour precision on your measurement, and it's quite lagged, it's quite delayed. You don't get so immediate measurement as you get in your revs. The revs are actually really immediate, but in the speedo it's not like that. It's more delayed. So because they wanted to have a more responsive speed meter, what I did is, in the same way that I'm calculating the gear that I'm running in based on the speed that is coming from the ECU and the tires and the gear and the running gear and everything, what I'm doing here is, now that I have all this information, I can calculate the speed back, but based on the revs that the car is running. So what you see there is the revs, the speed based on the revs and the gear we are in and the tires and everything. So with that, you can get a much more immediate response. The drawback is that just in the middle bit of the gear change, you cannot get to figure out what gear you are running in. It's not possible. It's just not possible without a sensor. I will have to install a sensor for doing that with precision. But for holding the cruise control with more precision and to have a more immediate sense of speed is good enough for me for now. So this is the reason why the speedo gets a bit crazy sometimes, especially when I give it stick and I change to another gear. Also, you are seeing that from time to time the cluster gets more bright and then it gets less bright. That is because I'm running on the night and I'm going through areas where there is no light at all, this dark road, and there are other areas that are more urban, so I have some public lighting. So what I did is I'm using the sensor that for the lights, for the automatic lights, to know what is the ambient light level. So below certain limit, what I do is I just dim the screens, so you get to more comfortable sensation here, because in that really dark night, this cluster at full bright is it's too bright. It's a bit annoying and it can get a bit dangerous. So in this way it's okay. You don't have to worry about. You see well. You don't get any obstruction for seeing. And also you can see that the long lights, the road lights, are triggering as well. Those are automatic. When the sensor is getting a really dark signal, it triggers automatically the road lights, the long range lights, and it works pretty well, even if you are on a highway and some car is coming in front of you from considerably far away. It will detect the difference and it will go back to normal lights again. It's actually working reasonably well, and I have it all turned on all the time. I'm sorry for my English that I'm getting stuck, and probably you guys that are native or have much better English than me, probably you are going to lose your patience, but I do my best to get communicated and get myself understood for you. I forgot there is also a very big improvement here for the system. It's not visual, at least not of what you can see on the camera, but I replaced the PC I'm using for running all this. At the beginning, because I started that kind of 2013, and I needed actually to drive at least 3 screens or even more for development. Actually, I needed a pretty substantial PC. I managed to assemble one in an ITX motherboard in a really small case that I 3D printed myself. So, but still was not enough because it didn't fit in the glove box. Actually, there was a box in the feet of the passenger. I mean, it worked out, but it was not ideal. So finally, what I did is I got, well, actually I pledged for the Kickstarter for the UDUE x86, which is basically a PC. It's a really nice PC with quad core. You can order with 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM and 3 display outputs, 1 HDMI, 2 mini display ports, USB 3.0 sound, and most importantly, an Arduino 101 integrated on the same board. I mean, it's an amazing board. I'm going to put the link below. So if you want to go for one, it's an amazing product. Actually, I purchased 4 of them because, you know, they are sweet. They are really nice, and I'm very happy with all of them. So now the computer and the wiring, instead of being on the feet of the passenger, it fits nicely in the glove box and is hidden, and you can see nothing, of course, unless you open the glove box. But it's worth to say because very recently, this is another reason that the car didn't go out in the street and I didn't make any video in so long, is because the car went out of MOT, out of inspection. I don't know, depending on how it's called, depending on your country, but you know, the periodic inspection you get to pass in many countries to ensure your car is legal and not breaking any regulation whatsoever. So of course, because my car had a lot of failures, because I put a very long trip and it broke down from several parts. So basically I had to repair. And after I did all the mechanical repairs, I went to inspection with all these that you are seeing here, guys. All these installed, all this running and deployed on the car. And it was amazing because the car actually went through inspection. It was okay. In the first place, they they put me back. They refused me, but because of a plastic protection on the direction I forgot the word, on the direction rack. The plastic protector of the direction rack was broken and one of them was missing, so they put me back. But only that, the remaining points of the car were fine. And regarding this cluster and so, they made pictures. They asked me my phone, but they actually didn't put me any problem whatsoever. It's worth to say as well that when I began the project, I was talking to the MOT engineer to figure out what was allowed, legal or non-forbidden here in Spain. So of course all this is developed very carefully to not interfere with any regulations, because you don't want your car to be stopped by the police and get towed and get to inspection again and waste your money and effort. But this is not the case here. I mean, the police obviously stops me a lot because these cars are calling for trouble, but they never put me a problem. Actually, they never asked me for the papers even. This is amazing. They just let me through and not much problem. Maybe it's because I look like a nice guy, not a criminal, or nothing like that. So probably has something to do. But anyway, no legal problems, no inspection problems. It's all fine. The car is running, and it runs like a peach. As you can see, no glitches, no nothing. And I'm very, 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 very happy with it. Now, the next thing I'm working on is on integrating the air conditioning on this, because now it's not. I already begun, but I have to disassemble the system again and do modifications. But I'm working on a climate control system, so I can drive the air conditioning unit on this car. I'm going to pretty much stop evolving too much this system. What I'm working now is on migrating this to something that I can industrialize, I can encapsulate, and I can sell to the public. Because why not? Now I have all this, and it's worth a shot at least. And if it doesn't work out, there's no clients, there is nobody trying to interested on buying and willing to pay the price. No problem. The goal was to get my old little car working and personalized as I wanted. That is what I have now. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope at some point in the future I'm going to post more videos like this. Thank you very much. Bye bye.